I love this camera, and by the end of this video, you're gonna love it too. Fujifilm cameras are becoming very popular in 2023 because of their unique look, their retro style, and the top quality images they can produce. Fujifilm, like many other manufacturers, makes loads of these cameras suited to different photographers' needs. And as you've obviously seen, the X100V has really taken off recently on social media. Why did I buy this Fujifilm XT-30 when I have a perfectly good Sony a7 IV? Well, there's a lot of reasons we're going to get into. And fun fact, sometimes I even find myself grabbing this camera over the Sony a7 IV. We need to first understand what makes a camera good. Let's start with the ability and durability. Autofocus is crucial when it comes to taking tack-sharp photos, and there's only one way to truly test it. So I got on a speedboat and headed out around the north coast of Ireland to do some landscape photography at 40 knots. I also managed to accidentally test the camera's durability to water splashes during this ride. So although the camera isn't weather sealed, it remained actually unfazed by the hour-long salty seawater spraying. So here's some of the shots I captured on the speedboat. As you can see, they're in focus, not really exciting, but that wasn't really the point of the test. But at the same time, there was also quite a lot of out of focus shots. So like any camera, you're going to have a lot that you miss and some that you get, especially when testing in such a silly environment like I put this camera through. The camera has quite responsive autofocus, which to my surprise even gives my a7 IV a run for its money, even boasting eye track autofocus and custom track and sensitivity settings. We have an APS-C sensor, as you would expect on an entry-level camera. It has an impressive megapixel count of 26.1, which is very surprising considering the other entry-level cameras. The camera could shoot up to 30 frames per second with an electronic shutter and up to 8 frames with a mechanical shutter. So the features that are getting the world of Instagrammers flocking over the X100V is the simulations and how it compares to film cameras whilst being digital. Would you be surprised to know that nearly all Fuji cameras have these simulations, including the XT-30, but for less than half the price? It also has interchangeable lenses, which easily beats the X100V in my opinion. For those of you out there that want to do commercial work and get paid, these next features are going to be an absolute goldmine for you. I'm not even exaggerating. This camera isn't just for photographers though. This is where things get impressive. This camera can shoot 4K 24 frames in DCI mode, which is essentially an anamorphic lens because it shoots in 17:9 aspect ratio. You obviously have the usual 16:9 as well. So what about the exterior of the camera? Now Fujifilm is quite popular for this retro mechanical look. And this camera itself is very thin, it's very light as well, but it doesn't have in-body image stabilization, which means you're gonna have to pick up a lens which has optical image stabilization, if you're filmmaking obviously. So it's actually gonna make the camera quite heavy for an entry-level camera. But if you don't see that being a problem, then it's not. So it has mechanical dials with the ability to hot swap between modes, including custom button combos on the dials and the FN key. But it's not all good, because there's one problem that I really dislike, and that is the non-articulating screens. These really annoy me. But it's only really annoying if you're trying to film yourself or sit in front of the camera. So if you're not planning on doing that, it's not really a problem. And if you do want to sit in front of the camera, throw on a wide lens, look through the barrel of it, you're gonna be fine. Then it also has a painfully annoying 2.5mm jack for the mic, which means you'll definitely need an adapter to run a mic on this. We do have an on-camera flash, which is actually super cool for that retro flash effect. But all that aside, it's really hard not to fall in love with this camera. I've had it for 2 years and I still use it as my second shooter and even backup camera. I still use it for commercial and personal use. And there's just something about it. It just is a camera that has its own personality and it rewards you for using it. You will fall in love with this camera.